Hello, this is your friend Velma Hagar. And today we're going to talk about being a teacher. First of all, I think every parent is a teacher. Right off the bat, I want to say that. So if you've had children, you have been called to be a teacher in some sense of the word. You know, teachers have a lot of responsibility. And woe to him that leads little children amok. You don't ever want to do that. You don't want to ever teach your children bad habits or how to lie or cheat. You don't want to do that because you're very responsible for that as a teacher. And as a scholastic teacher, one that is called as a profession, really a noble position that must be thought of in a very serious way before you decide to be a teacher. If you're not called to be a teacher, you're in trouble. Because it is something that you're judged harshly by God. I want to say that. You have a harder judgment. If you are a teacher, you are judged harder. More is to him that much is given, much is expected. And as you're given the ability to teach others, you better be teaching them right. Be careful when you decide to be a teacher. Be sure you're called before you do it. I think I've got way too much top on this and not enough bottom. Let me pull this down a little, see how that's better. Yeah, that's better. Anyway, and as a teacher, you need to be a good learner. You know, one of the things I see in our environment, and I'm going to tell you what, I am guilty of this myself. Somebody says something to you, oh, I already knew that. Or no, I don't want to, it's like, people feel like they need to already know it. They don't want to learn it. And I do it too. I'm going to tell you right now, I am so guilty of this one. I have to catch myself constantly. You know what? Stop and compliment people. You know, give them the credit of something. If they taught you something new, say, that's really good. Thank you. I didn't know that. Don't say, oh yeah, I know. I just can hardly stand to be around somebody that does that to you. You're trying to tell them something and they already know it. No matter what you tell them, they know it or they've done something better anyway. You know, do not do that. A good teacher must be a good learner. And you must be learning all the days of your life. You will never know it all. I don't care how old, how educated, you will never know it all. There's always something new to learn. And when you learn it, you know, my daughter always says, I sit at church, and I'm sure they probably think that I don't listen because I am multitasked, thank God, and I get my iPhone out. And when that preacher starts talking, and especially if he has a good message, I just sit there and I write messages. Sometimes I write as many as 6 or 7 of my blogs for the week while I'm at church. And I hear every word. Stacy goes, my daughter, she says, you know, Mom, you're like a mother bird. You get the food, you chew it up, and then you regurgitate it out to the people. And that's exactly what I do. I regurgitate what I learned, and I'm learning every single day. All I need is a one-liner. I've told you that before. Give me a one-liner, and I could run with it. But this thing at church, my gosh, sometimes I get so much out of that message. He must think I just sit and play with my phone all the time but I hear every word and I learn from him. I'm open to learning. Praise God, I always want to be open to learning. When I see people with their minds closed, yeah, I've always done it this way and this works and I don't want to learn anything else and my way is the best way, and I'm guilty. I'm putting this finger, as I put it out at you, I have 3 coming back at me. So, I do it too. Always stay open, no matter what. Listen to the other side. You don't have to agree with it. And in the end, your way might be better. But at least listen. Glean from what other people have to say. It is so important. I always loved this line. I got out of, Gehazi, the prophet. And he said, a good teacher leads you to the threshold of your own understanding. I love that. When you hear something and it sounds good, listen. Your spirit knows when it's something you should be learning or when it isn't. Sometimes you have to red X things you learn. They say things that aren't true, then you don't want to gather that up. But you do want to listen to your heart. And so a good teacher will lead you to the threshold of your own understanding. I love that. I also just did a blog that a gentleman gave me, this Mark Davis, a guy. I ran into him at the doggone car wash. And I walk out there and he and I we just started yapping. And he has a little thing that he calls pearls of wisdom. And we know we've always called my little messages pearls of wisdom, but he has over 600 of them written down. And he gave me his little thing that he had written up, one-liners. And so I have already used a couple of them. And one of them was on the teaching. It said, the teacher opens the door, but you still have to go in. And I like that too. It's the same thing with a teacher leads you to the threshold of your own understanding. So I like that. And you know, teachers are so important. And every one of us in our own way are a teacher in life. We're either teaching our children, or we're teaching our friends, or we're just teaching by the way we live is a form of teaching. You know, if you're a Christian and you're living a good life, that's a form of teaching. I always love the analogy that says, you know, we're all called to preach the gospel, and sometimes you even need to use words. In other words, sometimes you just live it out, walk it out, and you are preaching, you are teaching. Look how fast I talked, because you know why? I'm listening myself, because as you know, I have chosen to be a teacher, but I feel I was called, and therefore I am one, and I love doing it. I have a Bible study in these girls. They call me the teacher. I am the teacher. I go, I'm the teacher, you know, but I just love it. The teacher is sitting here, you know, teacher, can I go to the bathroom? I love it. So if you choose to be a teacher, be sure you're prepared, because you're called. You're going to be judged more harshly for teaching bad. So make sure you know what you're doing. Make sure you're called. But if you're called, do it and do it well. And keep your mind open so you can keep learning, so you can regurgitate it out like I do and buy my doggone books. Hidden Treasures in Secret Places and Hidden Treasures in Dark Places. And hit that subscribe button. Even though I went well over my 1,000, I mean, it's going like crazy now. I got 40 more after I hit 1,000 really fast. I don't know, something was blocking me, but now I'm opened up. All right, you guys. Until next time, this is your friend Velma Hagar, bidding you a blessed day and telling you to remember to teach properly if you choose to teach. Bye.